everybody, and welcome to episode 136 of the NFL Edition. I am your host, Alex Loosemore. I've got Ben with me tonight, and hopefully we've got another person joining us later on. We'll see if that happens. We're just going to pretty cut and dry again this week. Obviously, free agency starts next week. We had the franchise tag deadline this past Tuesday, so we know who's going to be available next week for free agency and who's not. So we'll kind of preview some of these players, the key free agents, where we think they're going to go. Do we think they resign? Do we think they go elsewhere? Kind of who are the big money guys? Who's going to kind of go under the radar? Just however we kind of feel about these players, we'll discuss them. We'll see where the show takes us. If you like what we're doing here, like, share, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and comment. Throw your guys' predictions in the comments, or whether you agree, disagree, however you feel about our opinions on the players. We love going back and forth with you guys and interacting with you guys. So, let's get right into this. I'm going to bring on my co-host here, Mr. Ben Cornett. How's it going, Ben?
Going good, Alex. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing well. I'm excited for free agency to finally get here, because this part of the offseason, it's all the talk of, this team's interested in this guy. This team's interested here. They don't like this guy. They like him only for this amount. So it's going to kind of be nice to see some of these pieces fall into place.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the free agency starts Monday. So right now, teams can negotiate with their own players. Agents can talk to other teams. They just can't. Players cannot until Monday when it opens up. So this is an exciting time of year. I'm very fascinated by it because, just if you have like a favorite player on your team or somebody you really like, you want them to keep them. And then there's like some doubt going on. Believe me, as a Bucs fan, we know what's going on right now. We know what's going on right now with a certain quarterback, and a lot of, I've read the group chats, the pages, and they're getting all freaked out right now. But for me, it's fun. Whatever happens out of my hands. We can't do anything about it. We can just be fans and just take it one day at a time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the Bucs there. Let's just dive right into it. Obviously, the big topic of discussion with the Bucs, other than outside the quarterback position, was Mike Evans, the legendary receiver for Tampa, all those 1,000-yard seasons. And to me, it felt like he was staying. There was maybe one or two other places I could see him, but to me, it realistically felt like he was staying. And that's what he ended up doing, that 2-year extension. It's what, $26 million a year is what it averages out to, if I'm not mistaken.
It averages 20. It's 2 years, $52 million, $26 million a year. He'll get $29 million the first year. I believe it's 32 guaranteed. So, or 30. I'm sorry, 35 guaranteed. And there's some incentives and stuff. So the money's getting up front, front loaded. So I think I'm with you. There's no really big surprise about it. I think we all knew he was going to stay. They just wanted to see. He wanted to get at least around the $25 to $30 million range. That's what Mike ultimately wanted. And I knew they would do that. The Bucs would do it. The only thing that really kind of surprised me was the years. He only got 2 years. I would have thought maybe 3 or 4 years, but I think it's a situation right now where with the cap room that they have, they got to be a little careful. They don't want to go, beyond a certain point. And to keep in mind, too, that Evans, had to take some extra money up front in years past to help with the salary cap for, the Bucs during their Super Bowl years. And I think it was a situation where I don't know if Mike really wants to do that again. Yeah, he got his money up front, and I want to explain to everybody real quick. I know people say he took pay cuts. He didn't take pay cuts. All he did was take his money ahead of time in future years. And I just felt like this was one of those deals where part of it tells me that Mike will get his money up front right away. He doesn't have to take from, future earnings and stuff. I think Mike felt the same way, and they, just typical negotiating contract lingo that goes on, and ultimately that's where they reached a 2-year deal. So it's good. No surprises again. The Bucks, they want to take care of their own. And I said this the other night. This was Jason Light's very first draft pick. Jason Light's the GM of the Bucks, by the way. It was his very first draft pick. And I think that holds a lot of weight, for Jason Light, from not only a professional level, but a personal level, because he could say, you know what, that was my first pick. That was my first pick. And I want to make sure that he, starts here and then ends here in Tampa, just stay here in Tampa. And we'll do whatever we can to make that happen. So a lot of, a sentimental kind of signing as well. So yeah, no surprise. It's good for the Bucks. Obviously he's back. He's their best offensive player. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. It's kind of cool that first actual draft pick by Light, keep him in house, keep him. I think he's going to be a Buck for life. I don't think he's going anywhere else. And it was kind of cool to see them, like you said, just kind of give that money up front now instead of backloading it and then, actually, we need that money now, so we're going to give it to you now instead of paying it to you later. Kind of glad to see it work out for both sides. While we're talking the Bucks here, I'm going to get another Bucks fan in here to give their opinions. Mr. Alec Schomber. How's it going, Alec?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So obviously you just heard what Ben had to say about Mike Evans. You got anything else to add to that?
No, he hit the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. I think you said it perfectly there. Let's move over to your guys' franchise tag decision. You guys went with Antoine Winfield Jr. I think this was a no-brainer. Keep him in-house. Don't let him get to the free agent market in case somebody gives him an offer he can't refuse. This guy's a difference maker, and you keep him in-house.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, he's also the cheapest franchise tag too, around $17 million. Now, eventually, there's going to be a deal done, and from what I've read, just hearing from Bucks, just a lot of fans that are kind of in the know, they'll probably get a deal done before the season starts. Right now they want to make sure that everybody else is signed. But yeah, that's no surprise either. Winfield is one of those guys. I would even say just as important, more than Evans and Baker. You got to keep that dude. He's probably one of the best safeties in the NFL. Top 2 or 3. Keep him. You got to keep him. And that's what they're going to do.
The big thing with that is it's a young difference maker. This is a guy just coming off his rookie deal. We're talking these other contracts with Mayfield, who's been in the NFL for a little bit here. For Mike Evans, who's been in the NFL over a decade. For Levante David, who's been in the NFL for a while. This is a guy that's that young talent that you've developed. Keep him there and make him a cornerstone of your defense, and I think they're absolutely going to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alec, you got any opinions on Winfield there?
No, it's much needed in that aspect. I had to keep him.
Yeah. I think this was one of those things that had to happen for you guys this year, to especially with all the talk that Atlanta's getting and with how good they might look if they get the right quarterback. For you guys to stay atop the division, you guys needed to keep Winfield, to keep Evans, and hopefully keep Baker Mayfield as well.
Yeah. 2 out of the 3 are here already, so now we get to Mr. Mayfield. So let's see what happens.
Are you guys seeing all the same stuff contract-wise that I'm seeing for Mayfield? I'm seeing stuff around, I'm seeing 20 to 25 a year, and then I'm seeing 40 to 45 a year, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think you bring him back if he's asking for that much.
Well, his agent said said he's not taking a hometown discount. Now, I want to go back to I don't know if you guys have watched lately. The Sports Web with Peter Blake. He has a guy named Leo Haggerty on Shout out to them, by the way.
Mhm.
Leo said something very important here. Agents get 4% of their
Yep.
clients' salaries. So that's a big deal here. Agents have to get paid too. And right now, you always start at the top, the very highest amount of money. And then the teams will start at a certain amount where they want to go. The point is, both sides want to try to get to that middle,
Yeah.
To that certain point, and they can agree on it, and then from there you can sign the deals. So, or come to terms, with the deal, and then you sign it Monday when free agency starts. And the goal right now for the Bucks is to sign Baker before Monday.
Yeah.
So that way, no other team gets a sniff at him. Now, right now they are a little bit apart money wise. Well, I shouldn't say little, but 20 million is quite a bit.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to sign him, but I will say if it doesn't happen by the end of the weekend, I'll be honest with you, I'd start to worry because
Mhm.
The Patriots are sniffing around.
And they want
Atlanta,
a veteran.
They want Atlanta, Minnesota if they don't bring Cousins back.
Mhm.
So and interesting here, guys. For the Patriots, one of their coaches, I think their OC is Alex Van Pelt,
Yeah.
who worked with Baker in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, yeah.
So there's a connection there. And Patriots, I believe, have the top 5 or 6, money wise, most cap rooms.
Yeah,
So
they're way up there.
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's right now. It's just coming down to negotiations. Just where are we going to meet in that certain number? That Jason Light has a certain number. His Baker's agent has a certain number, and they're just going to try to get as close to that as possible for both sides. It's taken a little long, but I still think I'm going about 85-15 that Baker's going to re-sign.
Yeah, I still feel very confident that he's a Buck. I'd say, yeah, that 80 to 90% range that he's coming back. I think it's going to get pushed up to around that 30 mil a year mark average.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the edge of where I'd say let him go. But I mean, if you can get him for 30 or less, I'd say that's a pretty good deal given what he gave you last year.
Well, and the thing is too, Alex, what kind of hurts the Bucks is Daniel Jones. He got 40 million.
Yep.
And look what happened this year. So,
yep.
That's the thing you got to think about is this is why Baker's, and honestly, I think Baker is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, probably way better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's why you can't blame Baker for asking that kind of money. That's just the way the quarterback, position is nowadays. It's just going to keep going up and up financially. So, but again, the Bucks are kind of limited. They're at a certain number, so it is tough. But I say Baker, if it's more than 35, I don't know if I'd want to bring him back for more than 35 million a year. I'd keep around the 30 to 35 million. I don't think Baker's going to take less than 30 million a year. Just not. It's going to go at least around that 30 to 35 year. I would say maybe a 3-year, 100 million, something like that.
Yeah.
With some incentives as well, and probably like 60, 65 million guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see that. Alec, what do you think? Where do you think he's going to end up money-wise, and do you think he's a Buck next season?
I want to say yes, but I can't really see it. I can't think of a current team that I would say he would go to. But I know there are talks as of recently of a former reunion in Tampa. Can't confirm or deny because it's all he say, she say. So maybe they're probably making money room for that and cut that person because it's mostly Jordan Whitehead probably making a return.
I've started to see that as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's he say, she say. I'm not going to wrap my head around it and believe anything until it's from a trusted source.
Yeah, I was like, if that's the case, the Lions are getting Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, and Danielle Hunter. So that kind of stuff, I'll just believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Especially this weekend. I wouldn't believe 90% of the stuff you see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just all talk. It's media. It's, again, agents have to do their job. They're putting it out there. So
they sold it. They sold it hard when they showed the moving truck from Houston outside of Evans' place.
They did a damn good job of that.
And then they showed him at a Rockets game, saying he was going to be that he's a season ticket member, which I didn't even fucking know about that. And then
it's probably more for his family than anything else, but yeah.
So they sold the fuck out of that. That's why I'm like, that's why I was like, I was 50-50 on if he was leaving, but I can't trust media nowadays.
Yep, you can't trust anything out there.
And if I could trust, we would be signing Derrick Henry next week, according to all that happened.
Exactly my point. It's just like, yeah, if you could believe what's out there, you're signing every big name free agent under the sun. So, I'm just gonna get a couple of comments here. They're Bucks related here. Christopher Cole, thank you for tuning in. Said evening, fellas. And then he backed up your point there, Alec. Seeing that they're saying Whitehead is coming back again. Believe it when you see it finalized. That would be my advice to everyone with this coming week here. He said, Corey, thank you for tuning in. Said the Bucks still didn't cut Russell Gage yet.
They will. Again, keep in mind, guys, when they make these cuts, they're not going to just cut them when you want them to. They got to think about when they do it. Because there's a before June 1st and an after June 1st. That's what you got to expect when you see these cuts. They did that with Shaq Barrett. They cut him right before the new league year starts. Otherwise, he would have got $15 million. It would have been against $15 million against the cap. So it's just when they do it. That's all. I still think Gage will be let go, but it's just a matter of when and when it's the best time to do it. So.
And then he says Bucks need Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis to restructure their contracts. That's the thing. Dean and Davis have to be willing to restructure their contracts as well. You can't just go to them and say, this is your new contract now. They got to agree to fix it. And typically positions like corners aren't necessarily willing to give up that money or reposition when they're getting that money.
Yep. And I think there should be a clause in there if you miss a lot of time, like Mr. Dean does. You should get that money back because you're not on the damn field half the time. So, and it's sad because Jamel Dean is pretty talented cornerback. But again, what did Bill Parcells said? Your best ability is your availability. And so far
it reminds me of a familiar face. The bum they call Sean Murphy Bunting has Mickey Mouse. He has Mickey Mouse running. Dude became fucking what's his name? The one safety we used to have that got stiff arm to fucking hell.
Like Chris Conti?
He got that kind of treatment.
Well, I still want to think
Sean Murphy Bunting was the most overrated trash ass player we had. He had his Mickey Mouse run, thinking he was the best corner. Dude's dog shit. Move on. That man's trash.
Let me get the popcorn. Hold on a second.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be good. No, I mean,
Jamel
kudos
Dean
to Vance McDonald. Thank you, by the way, in advance.
Yeah. He doubles up again, saying the Bucks need to release Russell Gage. Carlton Davis trades or takes restructured contract, and Jamel Dean the same.
Well, Corey, you want to call? You're in Tampa. Why don't you call Carlton Davis? Say, hey, you know what? You want to restructure that deal there, or Jamel? Hey, when you think you can restructure for? You haven't been out there on the. Yeah, let's see how that goes. No, I'm just kidding, Corey. We're just having fun here, but
yeah. Another one. I would not do this, Corey. Said Bucks could trade Kyle Trask for Trey Lance from the Cowboys. No, don't do it.
So we're trading dog crap for horse manure? Is that what we're doing?
No. I've seen a couple teams looking at Trey Lance potentially, but they're not regular playoff contenders, or they're not looking like playoff contenders right now, I guess I should say. It was the Patriots and the Vikings. So I don't think you want to be looking for the same kind of players that they're looking for, just saying.
Well, I heard in some of the Bucks groups they want Jameis back. If they can't get Baker, I'm like,
wait, the same groups that called him Jameis Chastain? Is it those same fans? I think it is.
Same fans that burned all his jerseys years ago, and yeah.
Look, that page has been turned several years ago.
Don't go back.
No, Jameis is a backup at best. I'm sorry, he just is. You know.
I mean,
you'd be better off getting a Jacoby Brissett or a Joe Flacco for a year than you would. Yeah.
Oh, you still
and those ones too.
Oh, by the way, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but he resigned. He went with New England.
Who's that?
Jacoby Brissett.
So they're hoping to get it done, but he's not allowed to.
Not until
he's one of those ones they can't talk. Yeah.
Till Monday.
Don't ask why.
I know the Patriots, from everything I've been reading, have been they kind of want to draft a quarterback at 3, and then take either Brissett or Flacco off the free agent market, sit the rookie quarterback, have that guy play for a year, let the rookie get their feet under them, and then they can take over next year.
If I'm Cleveland, you're signing Joe Flacco now. You do not let Joe Flacco out of the building.
Now, Flacco, did you see what he had to say about Cleveland?
No, what did he say?
He said that he would love to come back to Cleveland, but he wants to be assured that he has a chance to fight for the starting spot. Because he loved Cleveland, but he wants the chance to play.
Why not? I mean, seriously, Watson, what's he doing? He gets injured. Like, you can't rely on this guy. You're paying him.
But I don't think you can have, and that's just it. I don't think you can have somebody making that much money sitting on the bench. You traded for that guy, made him the face of your franchise, gave him all that money. He's got to start.
I know. Yeah. They're screwed. I mean, that's too bad because Flacco did not play that bad for him. He
was pretty decent for them. Yeah.
Yeah. If Watson gets hurt again, what do you do? Like, Cleveland has a team that can. I know they went out of the playoffs early, but this is a playoff. They can get far in the playoffs. They have the talent. Defensively, they're good. Good run game. Good offensive line. Amari Cooper's a good wide receiver, a good weapon to have.
Nick Chubb's coming back this year. Yeah. You still have a pretty damn good offensive line, a really, really good defense.
Yeah, I mean, and you're strapping your card on Mr. Watson. I mean, it's just I would have a backup plan just in case.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
And I don't think Dorian Thompson-Robinson's that guy yet. Or
PJ Walker.
We don't know if it'll ever be that guy. And same with PJ Walker. So it's like, are you looking to draft another young quarterback this year to potentially take that spot? Or like, are you trying to get a veteran to sign for the vet minimum? Like, you don't really have much else in the way of options. So,
yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but
that's it's a damning mark for the GM of Cleveland that you tied all that money and all those assets to Deshaun Watson, and this is happening. That might cost him his job in a year or two here.
Yeah, could very well.
Yeah. Like Corey said, Zion McCollum and Jamel Dean didn't do better than Carlton Davis.
Our whole secondary was, other than Winfield, our whole secondary was not very good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, Carlton Davis, take that down, please. I'm just kidding, Corey.
Guys like my new profile picture.
I do, and he's long gone before your pick. I
Alex,
money on
I don't
that.
care. Let me live my fantasy till April, okay? Just let me live my fantasy.
I will.
Just let me
But he's
have
going
this
top
once.
20. He's going top 20. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know he is. Let me have this. I saw a mock draft and I was like, wow, if only we could
Only
Yeah,
have
if
this
you guys could get him, yeah.
hunk of fucking talent on our fucking team. Just look at that
Oh.
stud.
Yeah.
Fucking beast.
Yeah,
He's
like,
one of my favorite prospects in this draft.
yeah. If only we didn't win that rotten division we had this year, he could
Yeah.
have been in play for Mr. Powers Johnson. But
Yeah.
no, damn it, we had to win. 9-8 was just good enough to get in the playoffs. And again, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It's the
To be honest
difference
with you,
between picking like 14th and what? You guys are 26th or something?
26, yeah.
Yeah.
we in a matter of span of 6 or the last 5 weeks, we went from the 18th pick or 17th pick all the way to the 26th. And
Yeah.
if karma is a B word, I think I've got mine because the day that I saw that happen, I was like, I hope we tank and we stay right here. And the football god said, "Fuck you," and Bucks continue to win. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut for now on.
And I'm sorry to say this, Alec, but I think
Don't say it.
The latest he goes, you know exactly where I'm going.
Shut up.
I won't say what team, but you know exactly which team I'm talking about.
Shut up. Don't say it. And if Sean's here, my other goat's not going to your team. Grow up, buddy. Troy Franklin's not going to the Commanders.
Troy Franklin, yeah. He's going first round. I think he's going into the first round.
I want to see Troy Franklin and Powder Blues in Los Angeles. Just imagine it.
Holy.
Herbert to Troy Franklin. Oh my gosh, Keenan Allen, pack your bags, buddy. You're going to Poland.
There is a team called the New Orleans Saints that could draft him too. Let's think about this.
If Troy Franklin goes to the Saints, I respectfully am going to punch the wall because I said when he goes to the NFL, I'm getting his jersey. If I had to buy a Saints jersey, that's just kicking myself in the nuts.
Well, guess who got released today in New Orleans?
Michael Thomas.
Blank God.
I think they might use their first round pick on a receiver. I don't think Troy Franklin's going to go top 15. I think he's probably the 5th or 6th receiver off the board. Because I think it's pretty clearly the top 3 of Harrison, Odunze, and Neighbors in no particular order. That's not my order either. And then Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU seems to be the 4th guy, although that might be Xavier Worthy now from Texas after that blazing 40. But Thomas, Worthy, and Franklin kind of seem to be, and Sean's boy Tez Walker all kind of seem to be in that same second tier. So
Tez Walker's going to leave for the draft.
Yeah, he's already in the draft. Yeah, but those 4 are kind of getting talked about in the 20s, 30s, from what I've been seeing. So, Corey, Baker Mayfield's more than likely going to be your starter. If you don't get him, Trask might be.
You don't want that to happen.
Agreed.
Trask, you got an OC that supposedly Mayfield had inputted.
Yeah.
And bringing. So if you start Trask, then he doesn't fit that kind of style of offense. He's a pocket passer. So no, you don't want that if you're a Bucs fan. You don't want him to start. So.
Mm-hmm.
It could be worse. You could have Caleb Williams as your quarterback, the future CTE bust of the NFL.
Oh, look at this. Christopher Cole's pretty confident. Look at Charles Davis, CBS announcer. His mock draft has the Bucs getting JPJ at 26.
Keep the faith, Christopher. Keep the faith. JPJ, Tampa, keep the
I would love
Oh.
it, but I don't.
I would
see
love
him-
that for you guys too. Him
I just
right
don't see
beside
him
Cody
going past
Mock.
17 or 18. I think I don't see him going past lower than that.
I think 20 is the very latest he goes.
Yeah,
It's okay, Ben. I'll never get my wish of a pro duck on my team. I'll never get
No,
that
you
wish.
never know. And keep the faith. Keep the
Hey,
faith.
Hey, we said he's going top 20. That doesn't mean you guys don't trade up for him.
My only last hope is Bucky Irving in the third. That's not going to happen either.
You never know.
Could use
You
somebody
never know how this
besides
draft
Bud
stuff's
Light,
gonna go.
you know.
I have a message for Jason Light. Please, just one pro duck, man. One. We had Mariota right there, and we got Jameis Shitstain. We had another Oregon player right there, and we didn't get him. Please, for the love of God, just do me one favor and just get a pro duck. Please, man.
Hear that, Jason Light? No, I didn't. I'm worried. Shh. This is Baker's agent. Hold on. I'm busy, Alex. All right? Alex. Yeah, Baker's agent.
Pro duck, man.
Oh yeah. Let's pivot here a little bit. Kind of funny that I used the word pivot because I want to talk some of these other quarterbacks here, and I think the first domino to fall outside of Baker is going to be who gets that Atlanta starting quarterback spot, because there's lots of talk of them trading for Fields. Sounds a lot like Kirk Cousins is very much in play there. His wife's from Atlanta. Used to that style of offense, working with Kevin O'Connell last year. They do have enough money to give him. Atlanta has right around $30 million.
Yeah.
I don't think Russell Wilson's in play for Atlanta. I don't think that's really that good a fit. It sounds to me like it's pretty much Cousins or Fields.
Damn.
Arthur Blank made it clear, I think, because I've heard some report he wants a great quarterback.
Yeah.
They want that quarterback solidified, a veteran that's, Cousins fits that mold for sure. Fields, he's not really a veteran, but he's played long enough in the NFL to, he knows how to play in the NFL and stuff like that. But again, if I'm Chicago, come on, just build something around him for one more year, see what he has, and then if it doesn't work out, then okay, fine. Then look for a quarterback next year, try and draft one. But for right now, when you have the first pick and the ninth pick, I believe,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of trading down with that first pick.
Yep.
It's just so rare where you have two number one pick, in a row, 2 years in a row. You traded Carolina, then you got more picks. Trade it again. You don't realize how many picks you can have. And then if there's another trade you want to do, now you have all these picks. You can trade for that, something better. And then you could trade your first round. There's just so many good things about having multiple picks, because there are positions you need to fill. You need to get another offensive lineman. You need to get another weapon. I would say a linebacker,
Yeah.
A lot there, man. But I don't know. They seem to be wanting to. They want that Caleb Williams, Drake May, and I don't think they're ready to be that guy right now. I don't. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you fully. There's flaws with all these quarterbacks. Caleb, it's all between the ears. He's got that God-given talent that none of these other guys, frankly, have. Mm-hmm. The talent-wise, he's off the charts. It's between the ears. It's his mind and his mentality that will either make him a superstar in this league or he'll be on his third team in 5 years kind of quarterback.
And not only that, Alex, but when you have family involved, like his father wanting like a piece of ownership stake, again, that's distractions, come on, it's just like you said, it's between the ears, that's the only issue. And That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid this guy will not make it because of the distractions. But for the Bears, I mean, again, you know how I felt about Fields. I haven't been his biggest fan, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the last 6-7 games of the year, he really turned it on. You know, he played well against you guys, and
Yeah.
lost to the Bears. I mean, he did really well, and I think right now you've got to give him one more year, trade down, get more picks, fill those positions, and go from there. That's what I would do. The last quarterback to come out of a draft that you could say, okay, he's ready, was Andrew Luck, in my opinion.
Yep.
That was 12, 13 years ago. And
12
you just
years,
don't have that kind of quarterback right now that can come in from day one. Now, I know Stroud, nobody expected that, but that's more the exception than the rule. You know, there's only so many CJ Strouds, so
all right. We've got to let Alec go here. He's got to get up early in the morning for work. Anything you want to promote, Alec?
Oh, nothing. You know, this is the struggles of being in the military, or on a ship wise. But
we thank you for your service, sir.
Yes.
Oh, no problem. I'll be fighting for the country on duty tomorrow, aka staying on the ship till tomorrow morning or till Saturday morning. So,
all right.
You all have a good night, and Powers Johnson to the Bucks, speak into existence. It shall happen.
All right.
Keep the faith. Yeah.
Thanks for hopping on, Alex.
Is going to be the best quarterback in the draft this year. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Argue the
wall. I disagree, but okay.
Okay, top three.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We can discuss that.
Discuss. All right. You can step inside my office on Saturday.
Okay.
You all have a good night.
Later, Alex.
You too.
Yeah, with these quarterbacks in general, like we just said what we said about Caleb Williams. For me, Drake May, he's got that Herbert, Josh Allen kind of prospect feel to him, where there's a lot there, but there's still some stuff that needs work. He doesn't react well to pressure. He takes off way too soon.
Yeah. Doesn't
really make the reads. He's my favorite kind of like prospect quarterback in this draft. I love a lot of what I see on tape. It's just he's got to go to the right situation. Same thing that happened with Herbert and Josh Allen. They got to the right spot with the right coaches, and look where they're at now. I think that's the same thing with Drake May. For me, it might be biased. I feel like JJ is the most pro-ready guy. I also think he's got the highest floor. I don't know how that'll translate to his ceiling. I think it'll depend on what offense he goes into. But this is a guy that you don't have to worry about off the field or in between the ears, anything. This is your prototypical leader. This is your guy that's only going to be focused on ball and doing whatever it takes to win. Do I think he's the most talented guy in this draft? No. I think he's one of the most talented guys. But I think if I'm one of these teams, I'd consider JJ pretty early. Just because you know the between the ears. You've seen the arm talent. He threw very well at the combine. And the guy's a winner.
Alex, great points. They really are. They're really great points, you know. And like you said, he is a winner. You know, he can handle pressure. We've seen him in big games in college, you know, games against Ohio State, you know, this past year, the semifinals and the finals, you know, where Alabama did lead in that game, you know, and he brought him back. That leadership quality. And that's another thing about a guy like Caleb Williams. Does he have leadership qualities? I don't think so. I don't think he does. Can he lead a team? I think Justin Fields is more of a leader than Caleb Williams. And I don't even think Justin Fields is that big a leader, just because I just feel like his personality is not one of a leader, you know, but he shows more leadership than Caleb Williams. I just think like you said, McCarthy, I think wherever he goes, I think it's going to help that team. Maybe not right away, but eventually down the line, he'll sit and learn. That's a pretty good spot, man. Like,
Yeah.
let's say if he could, let's say the Baker thing fails on us and we don't re-sign him. Somebody to think about, like in that kind of offense. It's kind of similar to the Baker Mayfield, that leadership, that fiery competitiveness that makes his teammates better around him. They respond to him. That's a good quality to have. And, but again, that's if, the Baker thing falls to the wayside. But that's somebody you look at, like there's some similarities. So we'll see what happens. I mean, but you're right. You made some great points about JJ McCarthy, and he played for Jim Harbaugh. He was a pro style coach. That's already right there. That gives you kind of an upper hand.
Yeah, and for the people that are talking about how little he threw at Michigan, for one, he played in the fourth quarter of 4 or 5 games this year. That was it out of the 15 games they played. So he didn't have that many attempts because they were dominating teams for the majority of the season. 2, if you look at the first quarter or first half pass attempts, he leads all these top quarterbacks. Michigan was throwing the most this year in the first half, and then by far the least in the second half. And 3, if anyone could tell me Jim's best college quarterback he had other than JJ was one Andrew Luck. If anyone could tell me where Andrew Luck's highest rank at any point in pass attempts was in a season, be my guest. It's not in the top 30 even. So, and that's a number 1 overall pick. So that's just the offense that Harbaugh runs. That's the same thing with Herbert. Expect those pass attempts to come way down this year because Harbaugh's going to want to run the ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, that only helps the quarterback. You don't put that kind of pressure on the quarterback to have to make all these throws and have to, try and carry you to a victory. Now, can Herbert do that at times? Yeah, absolutely. He's got the talent, but again, you want to help your quarterback. You don't want it because he gets injured too. You have the finger injury, and and he's also your highest paid guy. He's your future. Protect him. And an offensive line and a good run game is going to do that for you. And Jim Harbaugh's he's definitely going to get his running back. He's going to, whether it's free agency or the draft, he's going to do that. So, yeah, I mean, that's what benefited Andrew Luck until he got to the NFL, and then the Colts went dumbass and did not draft.
Killed an offensive line. Yep.
Their franchise quarterback. That's why he's retired. So hopefully when JJ McCarthy goes to a team where he's going to have that offensive line pretty much in place and, sit and learn. And then eventually when his number's called, he's ready to go and hopefully have a good NFL career.
And I think the best spot for a guy like JJ, a team that has the offensive line, that has the defense, that has the running game, and is literally just looking for a quarterback. How about him with Sean Payton in Denver?
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
think that's kind of the sweet spot there. Or Atlanta. I think those two are kind of my favorite spots just looking at him.
Or you said Atlanta, right? Yeah. And that wouldn't be a bad spot. No, that's in our division, Alex. I don't know why you're doing that to us, but so I'm going to do this to
because
you.
It keeps them away from the Vikings. That's my other.
But I'm going to do this to you. There's a team in the same state that Mr. JJ McCarthy played in. Same state, it's kind of down the road,
hour or two away.
There weren't talks. They're holding off talks on Jared Goff. I'm just saying. This guy named McCarthy, played with Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I mean, we got what's his name from Tennessee, Hooker, but
Hendon Hooker,
Hendon Hooker.
Who they admitted they still don't know what they have in him because he wasn't cleared to practice till like December. So,
I'm just saying, McCarthy pitcher at Detroit Lions, 2026.
the thought crossed my mind, but yeah, no. Goff is our guy. As much as I would love JJ to wear the Honolulu blue, Goff is our guy.
And he should be for the next few years at least. So, but Atlanta, Denver. I mean, Denver would be. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, my God, Peyton working with it could have his next Drew Brees. Right in his lap.
A much more athletic.
Much more athletic. Probably has a better arm. Well, Brees had a great arm for a guy that small. It was a pretty good arm. But McCarthy, I think, has got a good arm as well. I just Denver, Atlanta. Yeah.
I'd love Denver too, because then it's him against Jim twice a year.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, would that help or would that be a kind of a detriment? Because Harbaugh knows McCarthy and his defense can pick apart his, strength.
See, but then McCarthy knows everything about that Michigan scheme, right? Because he brought the Michigan defense with him, and that's why I think it would be kind of a fun thing there, because they both know a lot about the other.
Oh, it would definitely be fun. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, geez. I mean, they're going to have to get a quarterback, so,
And I think it's going to be a rookie given
paying
Rusty $85 million over the next 2 years.
Money's going to Russell Wilson, so
funny, we were talking Atlanta. Mr. Fingers in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Luck was a victim of Irsay syndrome 100%.
Absolutely. And I like that term, Irsay syndrome.
Yeah. And they haven't really been able to find a quarterback since Luck. We'll see if Richardson's that guy.
But. Former Falcon was a victim of Irsay syndrome too. Mr. Matthew Ryan.
Well, and the Colts another interesting one because they've got Anthony Richardson, but then they also had Gardner Minshew play so well down the stretch for them, almost got them into the playoffs. He's a free agent. That's another one where it's like maybe one of these teams that misses out on the Cousins and the Fields and the Wilsons, those kind of guys. And Minshew might get picked over a Wilson to certain spots, or he might just come back and stick with the Colts in case Richardson goes down again. Like, he's one I'm kind of keeping my eye on as an under-the-radar guy.
Yeah, and, again, what kind of worries me, Alex, is when rookie quarterbacks get injured in their first year. Because normally that could be that's a trend. Not all, but for most rookie quarterbacks that have gotten hurt in their rookie year, it kind of becomes a trend,
Yeah.
Hopefully for Anthony Richardson, that's not a trend because he is their future. And if they do right by him, unlike Andrew Luck, get an offensive line around him. Now, the Richardson injury, those were more him being a running quarterback, trying to make those plays. But
not
again,
sliding,
which the coaches got to tell him, like, dude, you got to just live to play another down,
Yep.
But he's a rookie. He'll learn that. And look, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Anthony Richardson, hopefully, he's the future of that franchise. And because they got talent, they just tagged Pittman. So, they're probably going to work on a long-term deal. Just, they want to tag him. Just like Winfield, just till they get that deal done.
To make sure he doesn't hit the market, have some more
and
time to get that deal done.
Yeah, and you're going to need that weapon, so why not just get him signed and get him going? And then with Richardson, he's going to be there for a few years. He's on a rookie deal, so you don't have to worry right now about paying a guy all this money at quarterback. So get the pieces around him and go from there.
Yeah, and Corey threw out a couple teams here: Russell Wilson to the Raiders or the Giants.
Raiders
one of
could
those
be
interesting ones.
Yeah,
Raiders. Yeah,
that would be a possible.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's the familiar division, same division with Denver. They need a quarterback. O'Connell's okay, but he's not your future. So you're gonna either draft one or you're gonna go out in free agency. And Raiders would be an interesting pick. You know,
Or
although
they might do both.
yeah, the only thing I don't like about the Raiders coach is the OC Gessie, who came over
Yeah.
from the Bills. You know, I mean, they could have done better with that, but it is what it is. And I don't know. Raiders are both are a possibility. The Giants, again, the nice thing about Wilson though is he's getting his money from Denver.
Yep, he's
So
probably
just
going to take the vet min to go to the right team.
Minimum, go to the right team. Giants, that's an interesting one, but Barkley's not going to be back.
Yeah,
more than likely. I don't know about the Giants. I mean, Russ needs weapons around, and that offensive line can't stay healthy.
Yep.
So what good would it be to have a guy like Russell Wilson when you can't even get your offensive line healthy? And you know they still need pieces on that line. You know, probably need another guard, and so
I would almost say they move Evan Neal to guard where he can have more help and draft another tackle.
Okay, yeah, it'd be interesting. They got a top. I don't want to ruin Alex moment. You know, JPT. You know,
I think if they wanted Powers Johnson, they're going to trade back. I don't think they'd take him at 6. I think that's a little rich for a center, but
yeah.
Well, he could also play guard, but that would be the highest drafted guard since Quentin Nelson. So
right,
putting him in rich company there. For me, the one team I kind of like for Russ that I think should be getting some more traction and might right away, the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they sat Pickett when he was healthy the last couple of games. They're going with Mason Rudolph. I think there's something there where you've got the majority of that offensive line built now. You've got 2 good running backs. You've got a good defense. You've got some good receivers on the outside. Could they pay Russell Wilson that vet minimum for him to go there? And it's
why not? I mean, that's a sneaky good team, dude. That could be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you don't want Russell to do what he did with Seattle. He can't do that anymore. He's in his mid-30s, you know. He never really had a good offensive line to begin with. Seattle, even during their Super Bowl years, it wasn't great, but at the time, you can get away with that because Russell Wilson was such a good out-of-the-pocket quarterback. He can scramble and make plays, but he can't do that anymore. He's at that age where his legs aren't going to do that for him. You've got to make him a pocket pass. Pittsburgh is a perfect place, Alex, because, again, you said it. 2 good running backs, Najee Harris. You know, their offensive line's getting pretty much built. It takes a lot of pressure off him. He doesn't have to make, you know, too many plays. You just run the majority of the time. And then for the running backs, then, you know, on certain plays, throw the football. And that's it. It'll work perfect. I think it's a good fit for him. They should do it. Try and do it.
Chris says, why does anyone want Russell Wilson? He's terrible, washed up, time to go retire. If you actually look at it, that 5-game winning streak they had in the middle of the season there before they came and played us, he was actually playing some pretty damn good football. So there is still stretches where he's a good quarterback. It's just, it seems kind of hit or miss when he's trying to play Superman. If he's got somewhere where he can just kind of look, he's got to get out of his own head as well. He's not that guy anymore. If he can actually realize that and sit back and play within the offense, I think he's better than anything they've got in Pittsburgh right now. He's better than what they've got in Vegas right now. There's lots of places where he's better than what they've got. So he'll end up somewhere. It's kind of sad to see Russ get to this point based on what his career was earlier, but it's the way it goes sometimes.
And ironically, when they played you guys, I think that game we all remember, that meltdown that Sean Payton had on the sideline. Yeah. It was a Saturday night game, national TV, you know, worldwide TV, I should say. We're in Canada, but I'm like, yeah, that's it. He's not coming back. Sean Payton
Yeah.
lost confidence in him. But again, it's not all his fault. Again, it just was a bad marriage. Just a bad marriage. Him and Payton just didn't fit. Oil and water, so
Yeah.
time to move on. And I think Payton wants his own guy to mold and clay and develop,
Yeah.
So the draft would be perfect. Like we said earlier, McCarthy would really kind of check those boxes for a Sean Payton type of quarterback.
And I think if McCarthy ends up going before Denver could get him, I think Bo Nix fits a lot of those boxes for him too. I think Bo Nix could be another damn good quarterback prospect for Sean Payton to kind of mold in his image. I think that would be a good spot as well.
And he's got a great arm too. Bo Nix, great arm, and
he's played a lot of football.
Yes, that's played at Auburn, played at Oregon. I mean, so he's played against great defenses as well. So the pressure's not going to be really, it's not going to really phase him as much either. So, especially in the AFC West, Chiefs are going to have good defenses. Antonio Pierce is doing a good job with his defense. Max Crosby, so yeah.
The same Bo Nix that was an 18 or 19-year-old kid. Yeah, that same guy. The one that's 23, 24 now, that took those lumps, took that learning, and is now a much better quarterback than he ever was at Auburn.
Yep. Played Alabama every year. Played Georgia almost every year. I mean, oh my God, those are NFL defenses you're playing. So
very few quarterbacks are good at the ages of 18 and 19. Most of them, it's that junior, senior year where they really take off. Is Bo Nix that special elite prospect? No. But he's a guy that you can mold, that he's got that leadership in him. He's got that experience where you're kind of a step or two ahead in that development if you're looking at Sean Payton in Denver. He's much more, he's got a greater ability to work within the offense. What we were just saying Russ needs to do, Bo Nix has learned to do that. He's learned to not be Superman like he was trying to be at Auburn.
Right.
So I really like Bo Nix, the prospect that he is right now.
And don't forget, Alex, I mean, look at guys like Lamar Jackson. I mean, I thought, oh my God, he's the way he plays, never gonna make it past his rookie deal. And look what happened this year, career year. He got the right system in place, adjusted a little bit, to the offense fit around him. Josh Allen, I was thinking, really, from Wyoming, but that's the right situation, and look what he's doing now. So you gotta, you can't always judge the book by its cover. You gotta. It's about the system, where they go, where they develop, and they can go there. And Bo Nix has a chance to develop into a great, given the right system. He could do some stuff for a team.
Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting quarterback class this year because they're all so polarizing for one reason or another. It's Caleb Williams, it's that attitude. Drake May, it's that almost need to play hero ball in his mind. For JJ, it's the lack of attempts. For Bo Nix, it's you had two different sides to the coin in college. For Penix, it's the injuries. For Jaden Daniels, you really only saw this level of play for 1 year. So, and Chris, stop that. Everyone got destroyed by those Georgia teams. Stop it.
Oh, no. Hell, I mean, Bryce Young got destroyed by Georgia.
Yeah. Everyone got destroyed. The only ones that really came close was that Ohio State team, CJ Stroud. That was the only one that came any close.
CJ Stroud, guess what he was? Rookie of the year in the NFL. So
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, I think the best quarterback in the draft is Michael Penix Jr. Just the problem is the injuries. That's the red flag. It's the injuries.
See, for me, it's injuries, and watching that national championship game, I don't think he deals very well with pressure. And for me, the huge knock on him, in my opinion, was you're at the Senior Bowl. Bo Nix is there. You guys are kind of the 1A, 1B for that second tier. JJ was below them at that point. Bo Nix, Penix does really well in those first couple practices, and then is like, you know what? I don't want to get injured. I'm going to sit out. Bo Nix does the rest of the week, does well in practice, kind of struggles in the game, and then JJ's the only one of them that throws at the combine and does well, so JJ's now jumped them. It's that competitive fire almost for me of, hey, that guy's being compared to me. We're kind of at that same level. Why are you walking away?
Yeah, and that could also be his agent telling him not to, that's the thing is. And keep in mind, Alex, when they played Michigan in the title game, let's remember, we know, but for the fans, where did Michael Penix Jr. start? Indiana.
Yep.
That's who he faced every year, Michigan. Mm-hmm. So, then they really got the best of them. So, yeah, it is interesting. You do make an interesting point about the competitiveness. But talent-wise, the guy's got an arm, though.
Oh, yeah.
Does read the field very well. But like you said, I think once a team gets to him, pressure on him, that's, his confidence does shake a little bit. I just feel like, for me, it's more about the knee. I think he can overcome those things.
Yeah.
It's the injuries. It's the knees. It's always going to be the red flag. And that's why he's going to be probably maybe even a second round pick, because
I wouldn't take him with the first round pick. I wouldn't. Maybe trade into that 32nd to get the 5th year option. But to me, he's a day 2 guy. And I think he's a pretty early round 2 pick.
Yeah.
But I think to me, that Senior Bowl thing kicked him out of the first round entirely for me. And not throwing at the combine again.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the quarterbacks, though, Alex, aren't going to do that. Again, that's the agents are probably telling them, we don't want to risk anything. Go by the game. And really, the game tape is the best evaluator. Always has been.
100% it is.
But yeah, when you don't throw at the combine, some teams are going to look at it like, okay, well, I don't know. We didn't really see you there. We want to see how your arm's doing and everything. Some teams probably don't even care. They're like, okay, well, we understand. We got the game tape anyway. But there are some teams that like, well, we need to see a little more. So.
Anthony says he'd be shocked if Penix went before the mid-second round. I think whichever one of those teams that's looking at the rookie quarterbacks that missed out, the Minnesotas, the Denvers, the Vegas, whichever one of those teams misses out on the McCarthy's and Bo Nix's, maybe even a New Orleans in the second round, I think they'd all look at Penix as a viable option.
Yeah. I could see
that. Unless Jerry takes him, that man cannot resist a flying leap.
Well, we got this young guy back named Michael Penix Jr., and I just feel confident. He's kind of a young you. But don't worry, you're still the starter for the next 15 years. We'll make sure of that.
Well, they're in talks on that extension there as well. So if they don't get that done, might use a rookie quarterback as a bargaining chip.
I know. I'm gonna probably make, and God bless. I love Janae. Everything. Huge Cowboys fan, but come on, he's a good regular season quarterback. Just when it comes to the postseason, don't get it done.
Yeah, and Chris makes a good point here. He only played Michigan once at Indiana. It was that COVID year. Threw for almost 350 and won the game. Yeah,
okay.
That's absolutely right. I remember that they beat us.
How long was he at Indiana, though? I thought he played there for a few years.
2-3 years, but season-ending injuries.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that game, and then I also remember that year, Indiana was a lot of fun. That was the one where they took Penn State out as well. with the if you watch our college show, me and Sean are going for two. Intro there. That's Penix diving at the goal line for that extra or that conversion to win against Penn State. So
wow, nice.
Yeah, that year Penix in Indiana, they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and ironically, Indiana probably should have beat Penn State this year. They had the lead earlier in that game, and
God.
Yeah, so and that's interesting. The Penn State quarterback situation, coming in next year, Drew Allard. Yeah, he's supposed to be for next draft. Supposed to be a top prospect, one of the top ones, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how he does in 2024.
They got to take the training wheels off him and let him go.
Yeah,
they're reining him in too much.
You're in a year where, Michigan's, I hate to say it, it's going to probably be a downgrade. Ohio State might even be a downgrade, perhaps, maybe.
I
think they're still a top. I'm just saying.
Well,
Penn State,
they're the off-season champions this year. Yeah. Ohio State, they bought anyone they could in a 500-mile radius, but.
Well, I'm just saying, with Penn State, now's the time. They could have let Drew Allard play his, let him go like that. They have a good shot at, being a playoff team for sure.
Yeah, I think they'll be a playoff team. I think there's realistically, I'm gonna say three or four playoff teams from the Big Ten and 3 or 4 from the SEC. The Big Ten ones, I think, right now, as much as I hate to say it, I think Ohio State's in the Big Ten championship game. I think it's against Oregon. I think that's my Big Ten championship this year. I think Oregon wins the Big Ten this year. I really do. And then I think one of, if not both of Michigan and Penn State are playoff teams this year, because I do still think Michigan wins 8, 9, 10 games, somewhere in there, because the majority of that defense is back, and I think that's going to be huge. Donovan Edwards being back as a running back, Colston Loveland, the tight end. It's going to be interesting to see who wins this quarterback battle. It's looking like it's a 3-4 guy battle right now. So, it's going to be interesting to see. And then Anthony throwing shots at Chris. Oh, no, sorry, Vols, not I was thinking Vanderbilt, the Commodores. That's Chris's team. But the Vols, every single year. I don't know. If you look at Ohio State's transfer portal that they had this year, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Downs, Will Howard, they've got arguably one of the best running backs in college. They've probably got the best running back duo in college. They got the best safety in college. They got one of the best pass rush duos in college. It's kind of another situation where if they can figure out the quarterback, they're going to be dangerous. If not, they'll still be a damn good team, but they'll struggle to win those big games.
Hey, but you know what? Vanderbilt at least has Jerry Stackhouse until April. They're going to let him go. I'm sorry, I'm in the March Madness kind of mood right now. By the way, Vanderbilt's not even close to that unless they win.
Neither are we.
Oh, jeez.
And it sounds like Juwan Howard's back for another year next year.
He's a Michigan guy, and I know we're off topic, but I just want to say real quick, they're going to bring him back next year. They just brought the Fab Five back. They had the group picture from earlier this year.
He did the whole thing now. It's not working out.
If he has another bad year, though, next year, then I could probably see it. But
if they start off slow, I don't know that he makes it through the year next year.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice hire. It was a nice nostalgic hire. It got him to I believe the Sweet 16 last year. That was was it the Sweet 16?
Last year we didn't make March Madness, I don't think.
Or the year before that, you guys.
Year before was Sweet 16 or Elite 8, yeah.
With Hunter Dickinson and Jet Howard. Was Jet Howard with the team by that? I think he was with them. No, not yet. Okay,
not that year. Franz Wagner.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Dickinson and Xavier Simpson and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah, with the Tennessee, that's going to be an interesting team next year in the SEC. Like you're saying, they get their situation right. I mean, but I like Golden Miss, as well. I mean,
I do too.
They could get past Alabama. That's like, which they probably will for the first time because there's no more Saban. There's,
to me, well, and especially the fact they're talking getting rid of divisions.
Yeah.
I think it's really in the SEC this year a 3-team race. I think it's Georgia, I think it's Ole Miss, and Texas.
Oh, Texas, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in the SEC now. Yeah, Texas for sure. Boy, that's an interesting team too.
It's a great team this year.
And you please keep Arch away. Quinn Ewers is your guy.
Oh yeah, they've already came out and said
roll with him.
He's the starter.
Yep. I mean, he played very well last year. And Texas is going to be a threat again. And
yeah,
Sarkisian's done a great job coming over there. He had that rocky start, but that game last year at Alabama, winning at Alabama, I think that solidified him for his job for the next 5 years.
And they were within a play of being in the national championship game.
There you go.
And I think they were a great matchup for us this past year. I think that would have been a phenomenal game.
Oh man, yeah. Think about that. Ewers against McCarthy, the running backs,
the physicality
against Worthy. Yeah, I mean Xavier Worthy and Blake Corum. Oh my god.
Yeah,
dude, that would have been such a great game.
Yeah,
we
played them week 2 this year, or week 1 or 2, something like that. I think we play week 0 and then play them week 1 in the Big House.
Michigan Tech. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah,
I'm excited. And like you said, Alex, they're gonna get rid of the divisions eventually. I mean, they're gonna have to because you got all these teams coming in and stuff.
I think both conferences already did.
Yeah.
I know we did. I think they did as well.
It's the Big Ten and SEC now, and everybody else. It's pretty. Florida State and Clemson going to go to the SEC.
Yeah,
that's almost for sure. North Carolina,
Virginia
to the Big Ten. So
which is big for basketball, getting those 2 schools.
Yes, and I still think the Big 12 is going to benefit the most for basketball because now you got Houston, who's the best team in that conference. Arizona's coming in next year.
Yeah.
Colorado's coming in next year.
Still have Kansas.
You still have Kansas. BYU's in there now. They're playing pretty well. Iowa State, Texas Tech. Oh my God. I know we're football, but March Madness coming. The Big 12 is the best conference in basketball right now. Bar none. I mean,
100%.
The Big 10, Purdue, they're the best team in there, and it's just pretty much everybody else.
By far. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the ACC, it's slowly dying. I mean, football, it's going to take a big hit because, again, Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, and Virginia are leaving. So
the ACC will stick around, just probably not as a Power 4 conference at this point. They'll go to that group of what'll now be 6.
Right. Again, for football, it's Big 10, SEC. For basketball, I'd say Big 12. And I'll tell you, a dark horse basketball-wise, the Mountain West. I think it's going to be a dark, because now Washington State and Oregon State are going to, in football, they're going to be playing some Mountain West teams next year. They're the only 2 still alive in the Pac-12 come 2024. So, the Mountain for Big 12 and Mountain West, the basketball on that side of the fence is going to be really good to watch. So, but for football, the SEC, Big 10, Big 12 might be pretty good still.
It'll be a fun conference.
Yeah,
you got Utah, Colorado, Arizona. You still have all the regular Big 12 schools outside of Texas, Oklahoma, obviously. But Oklahoma State played very well last year. Baylor every 2-3 years has a great team. Kansas is really coming alive in football.
Yeah.
Kansas State is staying at that real good level. TCU 2 years ago was in the national championship game. So, like,
they're gonna come back. So, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man. I'm pumped for Alex, it's gonna be such a different landscape next year, man. It's something we've never seen before, which, I know that's gonna scare some traditionalists, like I'm an old school fan, but at the same time you gotta embrace it because it's not gonna go away. You're not gonna change your minds. Oh, okay, we'll just, we'll go back to what it was, You gotta embrace it. And with the networks, Peacock getting the Big Ten, the Big Ten's going to CBS next year. SEC now is going with ESPN and ABC. I mean, it's money driven, and it's always has been. But now with the NILs deals and everything, it just makes it more obvious. So, times are changing, my friend.
And the way I look at it is, it kind of sucks that we're getting away from what it was, but at the same time, for me, like looking at it glass half full, I get to see Michigan, Oregon on a regular basis. I get to see Michigan, Washington, Michigan, USC, Michigan, UCLA, a bunch of different matchups we didn't get to see hardly ever, except maybe in the Rose Bowl. Now they're kind of a regular occurrence.
Yeah, no, and that's true. Now, but that can also take some of the allure away, because you're used to seeing like a Michigan, Oregon, or an Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And in basketball terms, you love to see those, Michigan, Oregon would be a NCAA tournament, March Madness game. Now you're going to get that in the regular season, but it's good and bad, right now.
Absolutely.
But we got to wait and see how it does this first time around with sport. Football and basketball are the most dominant ones. And you got baseball, you got soccer, and all that. We'll see how it goes. Again, I'm excited. I'm a fan of new. I'm a fan of tradition, but I'm also a fan of new, and I can't wait to see it.
All right, let's wrap this up. Bringing it back to football. Answer Corey's question here. We'll go just kind of those big three running backs in general. So Saquon Barkley, if you had to guess where he ends up, where do you think he ends up?
It's a good question. Chargers.
See, for me, it's the Chargers or the Texans. It's one of those two for me. Josh Jacobs.
I think he returns to the Raiders. I think they're going to figure it out and get him back.
Here's my big one. I think if Saquon goes to the Chargers, I think Josh Jacobs ends up in Houston.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think they're going to go big after one of these running backs, get that big-time running back to pair with Stroud in that receiving core, and just really take that offense to a whole nother level. Because it was good with Devin Singletary, and you can take that a couple notches up with a Saquon or a Josh Jacobs. And I think if they don't get either of those two, then they're going back to they'll bring Singletary back, and it'll be Singletary and what's his name? The old Florida running back.
Oh yeah. Dang it. We were talking about him because great, we're having a Johnny Dean moment. Shout out to Johnny. Shut up, Cornet. I heard you.
Yeah. Oh,
the whole
third round pick.
Yeah.
I know. I can say everything else about him. Dameon Pierce.
Thank you. Pierce. Yeah. He was high on, and he just had a bad year. I don't know what happened, but he never got it together, which surprised me. Yeah.
All right. And finally, Derrick Henry. Where do you think he ends up?
Texans.
Oh, staying in
Not-
division.
Stay in the
Him with
division.
CJ Stroud. Oh,
Yeah. That was my pick. Like Texans or Ravens. I mean, one of those two teams.
I got two. Ravens is one of them.
Mhm.
Or you pair him with James Cook in Buffalo. And they just got rid of, or they just gained all that cap space by shedding all those players. I think they could do with a big power back to go with James Cook. Depends how much money Derrick Henry's looking for as well.
Well, he better not set his bar too high because then you'll go into Dalvin Cook territory and you won't find a team until mid-season because the running backs, unfortunately, they're just not going to get that kind of money. So they would desire, and so I think they got to have a certain expectation financially where they're at. If they want to get signed by a team next year. And listen, I mean, I think Barkley's probably the most sought after running back out of the three. Because again, Derrick Henry, he's getting to that age now where he's slowing down a little bit, not quite the same. Jacobs, he's kind of had a up and down career with the Raiders. Some games he did great, then some games he just disappeared. He didn't show up. And then Barkley, the injuries. He's had the injuries, but when he's been healthy, every game he's had a good game. He's a difference maker. So I think Saquon's probably the most talked about running back. Probably going to get the most looks from teams. So I expect him to get signed first. I think, like you said, the Chargers. I'm going Chargers as well, or Houston. Could very well go there. So
I love that. Any three of those guys going to Houston, personally. I think it makes them such a dangerous team.
Yeah. I mean, and they were already a kind of a dangerous team with what they got now. Now you get another running back. Probably could use another tackle, on the line, and could use another probably secondary player, another corner that will help them, because last year they kind of struggled, with the secondary. You could throw on them when you had time in the pocket. So, the Bucks, we put a lot of points on them. Mike Evans had a big touchdown.
Yeah,
a couple touchdowns deep in the air. So, their secondary is a little suspect, but if they can improve that, oh my God, they're going to be really good, man.
Yeah. That should be a fun division next year with them, the Colts, and the Jaguars, all three of them battling for that division crown. Can't wait to see how that unfolds.
I don't know about the Jags, dude. I got a feeling 2022 is a mirage.
Think so?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what happened, man. Maybe it was injuries. They looked good in some games, but then had a good start, but it just seemed like they went downhill and
they flatlined like week 10 or 11.
Yeah, and it just were never the same. I mean, so I don't know. The Colts and Texans are probably the two best teams, I would say right now. Jags third. Titans last. We don't know because we got to see what Will Levis can do in his second year.
Brian Callahan coming in as the head coach. What's that offense going to look like?
Right.
What's that defense going to look like with the new coaches in there? Yeah, that's an interesting one too.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right. We're going to wrap this up here. Thank you for hopping on with me, Ben. Why don't you take a second to promote what you got going on?
Oh, well, right now you can catch me right here with Mr. Loosemore. Well, most Thursdays. Let's talk football. But once we get to the NFL season, too bad. You're going to have us every Thursday night, so deal with it. Yep. And, you can catch me on my show, Have At It, Friday nights. Depending on my schedule tomorrow, we'll see how that goes. should have a show maybe, but it's usually on Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We just talk about anything. It's one of those just throw it on the wall, see what sticks, and we just talk about that. So, and then I have a wrestling show, Face the Heels. Probably do a show next week. This week is a little busy, so talk pro wrestling and stuff. And catch me on my YouTube channel at Ben Cornett 9015 and on X at BennyBoy702.
All right. Yeah, that's going to do it for this week. Might be back next week. If not, then definitely the week after. Kind of catch you up on everything going on free agency wise. Yeah. We will see you then. Thank you for tuning in, and bye for now.